Nancy Pelosi calls on the 25th Amendment yet again. No, for realsies this time. A coup attempt in Michigan to try and kidnap Gretchen Whitmer is foiled and doesn't pass the smell test. We'll talk a bit about that. Joe and Kamala still will not confirm whether or not they will pack the Supreme Court. And Yelp is about to get yelped. I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Good morning, folks. Welcome to Contemporary. It is Friday. I've got the names of all of my wonderful chatters from throughout the week sitting up on a sheet of paper here, just like the binders full of women that disqualified Mitt Romney. And I will read them out at the end of the show here, along with everybody who chats in the live chat today. So get yourself in there. If you're over on DLive, get your stickers up. Make sure you're not lurking today, because I definitely want to read you out your name and thank you. But before we get started, and we've got a bunch of stuff to get to today as well, head on over to freedomscoop.com. Freedomscoop.com is going to be your one-stop shop for all of your news and commentary needs. We carry great shows such as The Breakdown with Birkenhoff, The Daily Ignoramus, The Generational Gap. Come and check them out later on tonight, as well as The R-Rated Conservative. Head on over and check him out later on tonight, and The Freckles and Brit Show. So come on over, check all of our shows out. Hang out with them, hang out in their live chats, make sure that they're on point and honest, and as always, pick up some of our swag and help us support great creators. Alright, looking at the stocks here, we didn't have quite the climb as we've had in the past couple days here, but there was still a bit of a climb. Actually, for a second there, we did have a bit of a drop down below, but it just came shooting back up as we went along. Finishing up almost a half a point higher again, 122 points. So, let's see what the investors have to say with that. Let's get the live chat up here so we can see if you're throwing those stickers at me, because I love seeing those stickers, guys. From Investors Business Daily, Dow Jones futures rise as Trump reportedly wants big deal on stimulus again. Alibaba leads 3 breakouts. This is from Ed Carson. Dow Jones futures rose modestly early Friday, along with S&P 500 futures and NASDAQ futures, amid a report that President Trump once again wants a big deal on new coronavirus relief aid. A big AMD Xilinx deal could be brewing. The stock market rally enjoyed modest gains Thursday, with the major indices all hitting short-term highs, despite mixed signals for a second stimulus deal. Alibaba cleared an official buy point on Thursday. Pulte Group and Pool Corporation, 2 housing-related plays, did well. But it was a mixed session for leading stocks, with many reversing off highs or retreating. Fastly stock and Etsy pulled back below buy points after breaking out Wednesday following sharp run-ups. What is Etsy? I don't even know. I thought it was just cute little knickknacks that you put on the top of your coffee table. And I never used them because I don't have a coffee table. But I actually have no idea what the hell Etsy is. But apparently they're doing well enough to be at the top of Investors Business Daily and on the Dow Jones. As for mega cap stocks, Apple, Amazon, and Microsoft marked the time around key support. Tesla edged higher after reversing from solid morning gains. China electric vehicle Tesla rival NIO reversed lower after appearing to clear a short consolidation in the morning. He is the one, Trinity. NIO. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Thursday she's not interested in standalone deals such as airline relief without a coronavirus agreement. That came after President Trump tweeted Tuesday afternoon that he was ending talks on a broad stimulus deal until after the election. Hours later, he tweeted out calls for airline aid and other one-off bills. After the close, Axios reported that Trump phoned House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy. No, he is Minority Leader, and said that he does not want a big deal after all. Trump reportedly was concerned by the stock market reaction Tuesday. CNN also reported that Trump favors a broad stimulus deal. Speaker Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin discussed a big stimulus deal on Thursday, said Pelosi spokesman Drew Hamill. On Twitter, Hamill said, "The Speaker assumes Mnuchin speaks for President Trump despite mixed signals from the White House." No, he definitely does not. Of course, even if talks are back on, that doesn't mean coronavirus stimulus deal is close. Democrats have passed a $2.2 trillion measure, while Republicans don't want to go higher than $1.6 trillion, which is by the way, been inching up a little bit more. I read these articles every day. I know exactly where it's going. The two sides also have a key difference on where the money would go. AMD is in advanced talks to buy rival chipmaker Xilinx for more than $30 billion, according to multiple reports, with an AMD Xilinx deal possible by next week. Xilinx makes field programmable gate arrays, which can be reprogrammed. Its chips are big in 5G telecom gear, as well as defense communications and radar. The business has been hurt by U.S. restrictions on China's Huawei. AMD stock fell 2.5% early Friday, while Xilinx shot up 18%. NVIDIA recently reached a deal to buy UK wireless chip designer leader ARM from SoftBank for $40 billion. After the close, NXP Semiconductors reported strong preliminary Q3 revenue. NXP stock popped 6% overnight after closing in range of 133.04 buy point from a flat base. NXPI is also set to clear its February all-time high. Alibaba, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla are on the IBD leaderboard. Alibaba, Microsoft are IBD long-term leaders, while Pool stock is on the watch list. Apple and Alibaba are on Swing Trader. Alibaba, AMD, Nvidia, and Amazon are all in the IBD 50. For the futures, Dow Jones futures rose 0.4% versus fair value. S&P 500 futures advanced 0.4%, and NASDAQ 100 futures climbed 0.4%. Dow Jones futures showed relatively muted initial reaction to the latest Trump stimulus news. Investors could be getting numb to the whipsaw headlines. No, I'm going to do it. No, I want to do it. No, I want to do it. No, I want to do it. No, no more deal. No, no airlines. Whipsaw. They also might be waiting for confirmation of Trump's change of heart and want to see real progress toward an actual big deal. Remember, overnight action in Dow futures and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular stock market session. All right, so no deal. Nobody wants to do things. And I actually have a couple articles talking about Pelosi's reaction to all of this as well we'll go into. Let's have a quick look at CNBC. Dow futures rise 100 points as traders look for clues on a new fiscal stimulus, from Fred Imbert. U.S. stock futures rose early Friday as Wall Street continued to search for clarity surrounding a new potential stimulus bill. Dow Jones futures pointed to an opening gain of more than 120 points. S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 futures rose 0.47 and 0.37% respectively. That goes back into Drew Hamill tweeting out, "The Speaker and Secretary Mnuchin spoke at 3 p.m. today for 40 minutes. Their conversation focused on determining whether there's any prospect of an imminent agreement on a comprehensive bill. The Secretary made clear the President's interest in reaching such an agreement." So it looks like they are looking for another stimulus to come out of this, which means they will be spending more of your money to try and bail out the economy that many of their Democrat governors shut down. So we will see what happens. Nothing at this point, I predict, could possibly happen before Election Day, which is 26 days out at this point. But we will see what happens. Let's look at what's actually happening in the world of politics. Starting with Axios today, Pelosi to introduce bill to assess president's mental, physical capacity for office. From Jacob Knudsen. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Representative Jamie Raskin will introduce legislation on Friday to establish a 25th Amendment Commission to assess the president's mental and physical capacity to hold office, according to a news release. The legislation, coming as Trump is still recovering from COVID-19, is largely symbolic, and it is highly unlikely the Republican majority Senate will even consider the bill. The commission would be established under the 25th Amendment, which enables Congress to help ensure effective and uninterrupted leadership in the highest office in the executive branch of government, the news release states. Worth noting, Raskin sponsored a similar bill in 2017, which called for a commission made up of doctors and psychiatrists to determine whether the president is mentally or physically unable to discharge the powers and duties of the office. And yet you're still sitting here trying to put up actual idiot, actual person in mental decline, Joe Biden, to go up and replace Donald Trump for this. I mean, like the article notes, this isn't going anywhere. There's nowhere for this to go. They're going to look at this. McConnell's going to say, "What the fuck is this, and why is it on my desk?" And he's going to toss it back out. So, this this doesn't do anything except try to fire up more people over on Twitter, which it did seem to have been doing. I was looking into that just a little bit. But we're getting into all these little things that are firing stuff up. This Whitmer thing that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. I don't buy a goddamn word of that, and I brought up a tweet to remind you why you shouldn't buy a goddamn word of it, but this definitely looks like this is something that's staged, something that they're trying to do to throw last minute stuff at the election, because I don't know if they think that they can win at this point. I really don't. But yes, now we're going to have a bill and we're going to establish the 25th Amendment Commission because we want to check the mental acuity of the president, but we'll shut it down as soon as Biden is in because we don't want to look that close at him. All right, let's keep going here from the Daily Wire. Crazy Nancy wants a coup. Trump GOP fire back at Pelosi over 25th Amendment meeting. This comes to us from Emily Zanotti. President Trump and prominent Republicans fired back at Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi Thursday afternoon after the Speaker suggested that she and Democrats will hold discussions on Friday about the 25th Amendment, presumably to talk over how to potentially remove the president from office. You are less than 4 weeks away from the election. For God's sakes, at this point, just wait the fucking thing out. But once again, I don't know if they think that they can win. Otherwise, they wouldn't be going nuts over trying to find some other way to do this. I legitimately believe, with the fact that this is coming, that they don't think they can win. Otherwise, they would be sitting there and waiting it out. Retweeting a supporter who suggested that Democrats were already plotting to get Trump out if the president wins re-election in November. Trump added that Crazy Nancy should be evaluated for her own mental fitness. Crazy Nancy is the one who should be under observation. They don't call her crazy for nothing. Well, to be fair, you're the one that calls her Crazy Nancy. So, Pelosi announced at her event, at her weekly press conference Thursday morning, telling reporters that tomorrow, come here tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the 25th Amendment, but not to take attention away from the subject we have now. Later on Thursday, The Hill reports, Pelosi said that she and Representative Jamie Raskin were planning to commission to determine whether the president is fit for office. It's a coup, folks. They can't handle it. They're still trying to sit back and overturn the 2016 election. 3 weeks away from the 2020 election. Did I just about say 2017? My God, maybe I should have the 25th Amendment check. So, that's what we're going to see from this one here. And like I said, this isn't going anywhere. This was symbolic. This is just trying to fire up the Twitter base and trying to get the Miss Krasensteins of the world out there to screech and fire up their liberal base. And Twitter's an echo chamber. That's one thing to keep in mind. And like 2% of the country is on Twitter. I have no idea what the actual consensus is on something like this. I know there are people that like the guy. I know that there are people that hate the guy. But there really doesn't seem to be an in-between. But they definitely want to put the 25th Amendment up, so we will see what comes from that. From The Hill. This is fucking stupid, folks. FBI says it foiled a plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. From Zach Budrick. A militia group planned to violently depose Michigan's government and abduct Governor Gretchen Whitmer, the FBI said in a federal affidavit filed on Thursday. Several members talked about murdering tyrants or taking a sitting governor, an FBI agent wrote in the affidavit. The group decided they needed to increase their numbers and encouraged each other to talk to their neighbors and spread their message. Okay, if your big problem here, first off, is whether or not somebody talked about murdering tyrants, then you probably shouldn't be on Twitter, FBI agents, because that is a common thing that's spoken about President Trump. But it's okay, because it's President Trump, and I mean, he's uniquely evil and orange and all this. But my God, they better not say it about Michigan. At least 6 men have been charged in connection with the alleged terror plot, identified as Adam Fox, Barry Croft, Ty Garbin, Caleb Franks, Daniel Harris, and Brandon Caserta. Their arrest was first reported by the Detroit News. The FBI says it investigated the alleged plot through a combination of undercover agents and confidential informants for several months. In a press conference Thursday, State Attorney General Dana Nessel said her office had brought additional charges in the alleged plot under the state anti-terrorism law against 7 suspects not named in the FBI affidavit. Nessel said the suspects were all in custody and had been linked to Wolverine Watchmen, a Michigan-based militia group. The individuals in custody are suspected to have identified the home addresses of law enforcement in order to target them, she said. This is... I need to read the affidavit on this, but this is just... all of this seems just way too convenient for anything. The plot, she said, had also targeted the state capitol. The agency first became aware of the discussion of violent overthrow early in 2020 and found several references to murdering tyrants in online communications. Just like they do every single day on Twitter, but that's because it's against the evil orange man. If you wanted to find people who were intent on talking about murdering tyrants, sign on to Twitter and follow every single profile that has a red rose in it, or a blue hat for that fucking matter. Fox was allegedly tasked by others with touching base with a Michigan-based militia group, which was already on the FBI's radar due to an alleged plot to obtain local law enforcement's home addresses. In June, Fox allegedly live-streamed a video to Facebook in which he excoriated Michigan's restrictions on gyms during the coronavirus pandemic, according to the affidavit. He called Whitmer this tyrant bitch. Well, yeah, that's actually probably true. I mean, she did come out after the Supreme Court said no and said, I'm still going to enforce my will. So that's actually probably true. Adding, I don't know, boys, we got to do something. You guys link with me on our other local location system. Give me some ideas that we can do. The alleged co-conspirators met at a militia member's home 3 days later, according to the affidavit. An informant who attended the meeting said the group was told that anyone who was unwilling to participate in terror attacks and kidnapping should leave. Franks was the only one who left before the end of the night, but it did not appear to be in response to the ultimatum, according to the affidavit. So, yeah, this is... Fox again floated the idea of kidnapping Whitmer in a July 27th conversation, saying the best time would be while she was arriving at or leaving either her own vacation home or the state-owned governor's residence. Snatch and grab, man. Grab the fucking governor. Just grab the bitch, he allegedly said. Because at that point, we do that, dude. It's over. So, there have been some funny things that are going along with this, and I've got a couple other stories here, but I want to touch on this tweet before we do anything else. I put this up to be at the end, but there are a couple other things that go with it. But let's read this first, because this really sheds some idea of why I call this bullshit. So, reading out from Twitter here, Keith Boykin puts this out personally. So, I'm going to start from the bottom here and work my way back up to see why I call this bullshit. Number 3 was Trump tweets, "Liberate Michigan. 6 men try to kidnap the governor of Michigan," which I don't buy for a second. Trump tweets about anarchists and agitators. Kyle Rittenhouse kills 2 people in Kenosha. And that was in self-defense on top of all of this. If anybody comes out and convicts this kid by a jury of 12 of murder in the first degree, and not even the lowest form of manslaughter, then, yeah, that was a poison jury at that point, because that was clearly self-defense. But this one, right here, Trump calls CNN the enemy of the people. Cesar Sayok sends pipe bombs to CNN. Cesar Sayok was fucking framed. And yes, he was a big left-wing guy that was running around in a van full of propaganda for the left wing. If you are trying to prove that this actually happened in Michigan and this wasn't a bunch of guys set up to take the fall, then I probably wouldn't use Cesar Sayok's name on this. I would probably keep his name as far away from this as possible. Because he was a big lefty. And I don't buy that he did it either. That was a hoax in my eyes from everything that I see. But, yeah, absolutely. And I see the same thing off of this. Alright, I got one here from CNN that I want to touch on. 13 charged in plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer from Christina Carrega, Veronica Strachwilursi, and Josh Campbell. 13 people were charged Thursday in an alleged domestic terrorism plot to kidnap Michigan Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, federal and state officials announced. The alleged scheme includes plans to overthrow several state governments and that the suspects believe are violating the U.S. Constitution, including the government of Michigan and Whitmer, according to federal criminal complaint. 6 people were charged federally with conspiracy to kidnap, and 7 other people associated with the militia group Wolverine Watchmen were charged by the state, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel announced. The individuals in state custody are suspected to have attempted to identify the home addresses of law enforcement officers in order to target them, made threats of violence intended to instigate a civil war, and engaged in planning and training for an operation to attack the Capitol building of Michigan and kidnap government officials, according to the governor of Michigan, Nessel said at a press conference. The arrests are likely to draw additional attention to the political tensions roiling the nation in the closing weeks of the 2020 election season and underline warnings from law enforcement officials, members of Congress, and groups that track extremism about the increasing threat of extremist and far-right groups. Whitmer at times has been the focus of extreme vitriol from far-right groups over her handling of the coronavirus pandemic. In an interview on CNN's Aaron Burnett out front on Thursday night, Whitmer thanked law enforcement for making the arrests. My shock troops, thank you for coming out and making the arrest of these people who totally were trying to kidnap me. So, I don't know what's going on with this. Now, one of the other things that I don't buy about this is that the right wing, for the most part right now, is totally in support of law enforcement. So the fact that these people were targeting police homes raises the level of suspicion up to me even further at this point. I can't look at this. With ACAB out there and people targeting police officers as mostly a left-wing thing, something doesn't pass the smell test with this. Absolutely not. I don't buy a word of what's going on with this. And one more here from the Blaze. Trump fires back at Governor Whitmer for accusing him of being complicit with militia allegedly plotting to kidnap her. I do not tolerate any, all caps, because he loves his caps lock key, extreme violence. From Carlos Garcia. President Trump fired back at Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer after she accused him of being complicit with white supremacists and militias, like the one that allegedly plotted to kidnap her in an attack on the government. The president took to his social media account on Thursday to respond to Whitmer's claims. Governor Whitmer of Michigan has done a terrible job. She locked down her state for everyone except her husband's boating activities. Fact check true. The federal government provided tremendous help to the great people of Michigan, tweeted the president. My Justice Department and the federal law enforcement announced today that they foiled a dangerous plot. Is that Trump still? Yeah, that is. Against the governor of Michigan. Rather than say thank you, she calls me a white supremacist, while Biden and Democrats refuse to condemn Antifa, anarchists, looters, and mobs that burned down Democrat-run cities, he continued in a second tweet. And he goes off on the storm because, one more here, I do not tolerate any extreme violence. Defending all Americans, even those who oppose and attack me, is what I will always do as your president, Trump added. Governor Whitmer, open up your state, open up your schools, and open up your churches. The Michigan governor used the occasion of the charges against members of a militia allegedly plotting against her to lambaste the president. Hate groups heard the president's words not as a rebuke, but as a rallying cry, said Whitmer. When our leaders speak, their words matter, she added. They carry weight. When our leaders meet, encourage, or fraternize with domestic terrorists, they legitimize their actions, and they are complicit. When they still can contribute hate speech, they are complicit. And the tweet that led to all this, apparently, that they keep talking about, happened way back in April, where Trump simply tweeted out 2 words, Liberate Michigan! 6 months ago. I'm sorry, but if you can't kidnap one small woman in 6 months, going right up until an election, you probably weren't trying that hard. I don't advocate for anybody to do that, but Jared Holt is going to clip that part no matter what. But if it takes you 6 months to come up with a plan to do that, you're probably not trying too hard. You're probably just kind of hanging around in a garage, drinking beers and saying, "Here, you know what, Heraclitus? I think we should go up and kidnap up that governor over there. Pass me another PBR." So yeah, none of this at all passes the smell test for me. Something else is going on with this. And once again, keep in mind that we are 26 days before a federal election that we know is going to get contested. And once again, I don't think Democrats think that they can win. All right, next one here. We read Keith Boykin's stuff already. From CNBC, Pelosi says no standalone aid for airlines without a bigger stimulus bill, from Leslie Josephs and Jacob Pramuk. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Thursday said there won't be a standalone bill for additional airline aid without a larger coronavirus stimulus package, another obstacle to further federal support for the battered sector that has already cut thousands of employees. Pelosi's comments come 2 days after President Trump halted talks on national coronavirus package until after the election, but urged additional aid for airlines, a plan that has won bipartisan backing. U.S. carriers last week started furloughing more than 33,000 workers, the vast majority of the cuts at American and United. Terms of the $25 billion in support Congress approved in the $2.2 trillion CARES Act in March prohibited airlines from furloughing workers until October 1st. The funds were meant to help airlines manage a dip in demand, but a significant rebound in bookings has failed to materialize. Airlines and labor unions have been urging lawmakers and the Trump administration to approve $25 billion more to preserve jobs through March of 2021. American and United said they would bring back workers if the additional aid is approved. It's consistent with what has been going on in this process for quite some time now. That is huge bipartisan support for extension of payroll support for the airlines, but a frustrating process by which we're trying to get enacted, American's CEO Doug Parker told CNBC. The initial round of aid required airlines to maintain a minimum service level regardless of demand, and with the terms now expired, American has already cut more than a dozen routes to small U.S. cities and could further reduce service without more federal support, Parker said. Yeah, this is a real thing. American and Delta, and Southwest, I'm guessing too, want you, the American people, to pay $25 billion more to send empty airplanes, from Chicago to Denver to Spokane to New York and everywhere else around the world. They want $25 billion to fly empty airplanes around. So keep that in mind as we look forward and what this coronavirus thing has done. Now, I don't think that they should fall, but there is a free market involved as well. Nobody wants to fly right now because the media has come out and said, if you step 6 inches outside your house, you'll die instantly of coronavirus, and you wouldn't want to get onto a canister that is a gigantic incubator. And of course, the other thing is why get onto the airplane where you'll get on the no-fly list if it's politically convenient for them. Pull the mask down to take a drink. Oh, you're on the no-fly list. You're done. You're a domestic terrorist. We don't want you here. Why would you take that chance? Gas is relatively low right now. It's not like we saw back at the end of April, I think it was, when it dipped down to, no, it was later than that. It was into May when it dipped down to under $1 a gallon over here. It's not anywhere like that, but it's still relatively low, especially when we sit back and compare it to what it was at the end of the Bush era and through the majority of the Obama years. You can get in your car, you can drive to the place. Yes, you'll lose a day driving to the vacation spot that you want to go. Yes, you'll absolutely lose a day, but you don't have to worry about masking. The cost is actually about the same. You can do it up on the fly, which is ironic to talk about with the airplanes coming into play, but you can do it up on the fly without a whole lot of pre-planning, and you don't have to wear the mask while you're driving around. You can if you want to. You absolutely can. But it's not a requirement. let the market drop or let them drop their ticket fares to try and fill those seats if they really want to do something. But even still, that's going to be a hard time for them. All right, next one here from CNN. Biden says he'll answer the court packing question when the election is over, from Eric Bradner. You've got to pass it to see what's in it. You heard that, right? You've got to pass it to see what's in it. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden again ducked questions Thursday about whether he would seek to add seats to the Supreme Court, telling reporters he would not address the issue until after the November 3rd election. They'll know my opinion on court packing when the election is over, Biden said in Arizona, where he was campaigning with his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris of California. Now, look, Fat, I know it's a great question. Y'all, I don't blame you for asking it, but you know the thing. The moment I answer that question, the headline in every one of our papers will be about that. No, it won't. You have a complicit news media that's running cover for you. I hate to say it, but no, it will not be everything. Biden's non-answer comes as President Trump and the Republican-controlled Senate seek to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to replace the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. If they succeed, the court will have a 6-3 conservative majority. Democrats are furious that the GOP is moving forward with the Supreme Court confirmation just weeks before the presidential election after Republicans blocked the Senate from voting on President Barack Obama's nomination of Judge Merrick Garland to replace the late Justice Antonin Scalia in 2016, citing the closeness of the presidential election. Oh, you guys are talking about masks. Hold on a sec. I got something for you guys, because you guys, some of you have seen my mask because I put it up on one of the Ed Talks I did, but most of you guys haven't seen it yet, and I want to share that with you, so hang on for just a second. This is my mask, folks. This is what I wear when I go out everywhere, and nobody says a word to me about this one. I actually got a couple compliments on it, but yeah, nobody says a word to me on this particular mask. And I wear it as little as I can, but it's nice because I can just doop, 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 doop. And of course, I love the irony as well because, Governor Evers' mask order is absolutely treading on me. So, of course, what am I going to do? Go out and grab a mask that says, "Don't tread on me." All right, give me 1 second. Let me yank this godforsaken. I don't know. I thought you guys would find that interesting. All right, let's get back to the news here. Let's get the live chat back up. Democrats are furious that the GOP is moving forward with the Supreme Court confirmation just weeks before the presidential election, after Republicans blocked the Senate from voting on President Barack Obama's nomination of Judge Merrick Garland to replace the late Justice Antonin Scalia in 2016, citing the closeness of the presidential election. I just want to point something out. If Reid still had the Senate in 2016, first off, we would be completely fucked at this point, because the New World Order would have come down and the Supreme Court would have found a way to rule that a third term actually is constitutional. That's a little bit of exaggeration, but absolutely is. But it would have been the same thing. Merrick Garland would have come up, and it probably would have been somebody a lot more extreme. But the nominee would have come up. Barack Obama would have said, "Neener, I win. Elections have consequences, and there's nothing you can do about it." But now it's suddenly wrong because we're in the opposite situation. And mark my words, Democrats in Congress would not be waiting around if the tables were turned. All right. So, yep, you got to pass it to see what's in it, I guess. And we will see. All right. Where am I up? I'm at CNN. So, from the Daily Wire, poll finds 34% for support for court packing as Biden-Harris refused to take a public stance, from Eric Quintanar. Just 1 in 3 voters support packing the Supreme Court with justices, a practice the Democratic presidential ticket has repeatedly refused to provide a public stance on. If Republicans were to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the vacancy left by the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg before the election, according to a new poll by the Washington Examiner/YouGov. According to the Washington Examiner, 34% of all U.S. voters. I was never polled. That can't be all U.S. voters. Fuck you. Support the idea of Democrats packing the nation's highest court if Republicans were to confirm Judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, and if the Democrats were to enter the Senate with a new majority and take over the White House. See, I don't think you guys understand what's going on here, because they're going to pack the court no matter what. They have to get over the hump of Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. It doesn't matter right now whether or not Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed. They've been talking about court packing since the end of the Gorsuch confirmation. Plus impeaching, actually no, it has been since the end of the Gorsuch confirmation. Plus impeaching Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. This is not new. This is not a new idea. I hope I'm not breaking bad news to you guys, but this is not a new idea. Democrats made up a significant portion of the voters in favor of court packing. Of course they did. Constituting 60% of respondents who expressed interest in court packing. Meanwhile, 47% of all U.S. voters were against it. While 32% of independent voters support packing the Supreme Court, only 5% of Republicans support the idea. On the other hand, 19% of registered voters don't have a stance on the issue. Yeah, this poll sounds like bullshit to me. I don't think there's any truth to anything that they're trying to say, but by God, they will continue to try and say it, I guess. All right, let's keep going here. I thought this was interesting, actually. Carolina Callie wants to tweet out that says Kamala wants to bring her style of prosecution to the whole U.S. Black men run. And Jade, I think it's Givad, is how that's said. I can't make out the script in that, I'm sorry. But put out this picture of Kamala comprised of all the people that she prosecuted. And that's kind of interesting to see, the mosaic that goes along with that. A mosaic of all the people that Harris has prosecuted, all in one place. And there's definitely a big similarity among most of them. I don't think that's all of them either. If she really has the esteemed and wonderful career that she claims to have. I thought that was interesting. I thought you guys would enjoy that. Let's keep going. Trump says he won't participate in virtual debates after CPD announces changes. Not going to waste my time. This is no author given from Fox News. President Trump, in his first interview since his positive coronavirus test, told Fox Business's Maria Bartiromo on Thursday that he will not participate in the next debate, just minutes after the Commission on Presidential Debates announced the showdown slated for October 15th will be virtual. The CPD announced early Thursday that the second presidential debate will take the form of a town meeting in which the candidates would participate from separate remote locations. Steve Scully of C-SPAN is set to moderate the second presidential debate from Miami. They don't care for him either, by the way. But in a Fox Business interview Thursday, the president said he would not take part in the virtual debate. The commission changed the debate style, and that's not acceptable to us, Trump said on Mornings with Maria. I beat him in the first debate. I beat him easily. Well, no. I'm not going to do a virtual debate, Trump went on. I'm not going to waste my time at a virtual debate. Biden responded to Trump's claims while talking to the reporters in Delaware on Thursday. We don't know what the president's going to do. He changes his mind. Oh wait, why am I reading that in Trump voice? That's Biden. We don't know what the president's going to do, man, but he changes his mind every second, so for me to comment on that now would be irresponsible, Biden said. I'm going to follow the commission recommendations, and if I can't do that, then by God, I can do more push-ups than he can. During his interview on Thursday, the president said that he wasn't going to sit at a computer to debate, calling it ridiculous. They're trying to protect Biden, Trump said. Everybody is. There's got to be something to be said about the fact that they put up the worst possible candidate to run. And if everybody is protecting him, then how insanely unpopular does the president have to be? I know, I see the president's sycophants over on Twitter. I do. I know that they love him there. I'm not voting for him. But that doesn't mean that he's popular enough that everybody's trying to protect Biden. And if you're that unpopular, then it might be time to either step down or change your tactics. If you're actually that unpopular. So, that's not what debates are. Oh, that's not Trump either. That's not what debates are about or how they're done, Stepien said. Oh, that was the campaign manager. Moments later, Trump campaign manager said the CPD was rushing to Biden's defense by unilaterally canceling an in-person debate, calling it pathetic. That's not what debates are about or how they're done, Stepien said. Here are the facts. President Trump will have posted multiple negative tests prior to the debate, so there's no need for this unilateral declaration. The safety of all involved can easily be achieved without canceling a chance for voters to see both candidates go head-to-head. He added, "We'll pass on this sad excuse to bail out Joe Biden and do a rally instead." So, no debate, but he's going to go back and do a rally. Which is sad. I would have loved to see that because, statistically, the incumbent generally loses the first debate. And honestly, I can't see a world where Trump won that debate. I can't. It doesn't exist. And I would have loved to see what he came back with for the second debate. Now, I'm with them on this. I know it's... The last debate I was in was online because I'm sitting here in Wisconsin and the person I was debating lives in Florida. And the moderator was in Washington, D.C. on top of that. So I understand that, but that was a debate over gun control by two guys who at the time had under 200 subs on YouTube. Not a debate on what policy is going to be for the entire United States. God help me, those words scare the shit out of me. For the next 4 years. So, yeah, I'm not big on this idea either, I'm not going to lie. The Blaze says moderator for second presidential debate publicly asked anti-Trumper Scaramucci for advice on Trump. Scaramouche, time to do the fandango. I miss Anthony Scaramucci. I wish he would come back. He was a horse's ass, but it was fun to say his name. From Breck Dumas, C-SPAN host Steve Scully, who's been named as the moderator for the second debate between President Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden, raised eyebrows Thursday night when he publicly asked avowed anti-Trumper Anthony Scaramucci about whether he should respond to the president. It is unclear at the time of this writing what Scully was referring to, but his outreach to Scaramucci added to prior allegations of pro-Biden bias against the selected moderator. Yeah, you're going to pull a moderator from mainstream news and you're going to find a pro-Biden bias. At 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time, Scully retweeted, "Scaramucci should respond to Trump." Scaramucci, who famously served a 2-week stint as Trump's White House press secretary before being fired and becoming a vehement critic of the president, wrote back, "Ignore, he's having a hard enough time. Some more bad stuff about to go down." Yeah, this whole militia thing was planned. Folks reacting on Twitter widely speculated that Scully accidentally sent the tweet publicly when he likely intended the message for Scaramucci to be private. Regardless of the reason, the outreach added fuel to the fire that Scully would favor Biden in the debate because he intended for the former senator he interned for the former senator a year ago. The Washington Times reported that Scully, who is set to moderate the October 15th debate, interned for Biden in 1978, according to a biography published by George Washington University. The response from The Hill's Joe Concha represented the reaction from many critics. He tweeted, "What? Why is the next presidential debate moderator publicly asking one of Trump's staunchest critics, Anthony Scaramucci, if he should respond to the president?" In a related story, Scully once interned for Senator Biden. Optics here are horrible and underscore mistrust in the media. So, yeah, there's that too. Plus, I got to say, Scaramouche. So, we will see. Well, I don't even know if there's going to be a debate at this point. Which sucks because I really wanted to stream it back out. Alright, I got just a few more here, then we'll read the names of the people that are chatting, who are very active over there. You guys rock, by the way. And everybody from throughout the week, which there were a few, including a few detractors that I had over on Twitch yesterday. So they will get thanked as well, even though that they were doing nothing but sitting there and spamming and trolling. Alright, from Fox Business, Trump pushes FBA to speed review of Regeneron and Eli Lilly COVID-19 treatments. Report. From Lucas Manfredi. President Trump and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows have reportedly contacted the FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn, urging him to accelerate the agency's review of Regeneron Pharmaceuticals' antibody cocktail. Sources familiar with the situation told the Washington Post. The Post noted that one of the anonymous administration officials said both the president and Meadows are looking to quickly clear this bureaucracy so they can save lives. "You wouldn't believe the level of bureaucracy these things get steeped in," the official told the Post. "We have to speed these things up." Yeah, actually, I would believe the level of bureaucracy because anything that comes out of the federal government is steeped in so much red tape, it looks like a giant blood-soaked mummy. Another unnamed senior official reportedly said that Hahn has received multiple calls in the last few days from the White House. "The message is clear, let's get it done." According to the Post, that official added the White House is pushing for emergency clearance for both Regeneron's experimental drug and for a similar drug being developed by Eli Lilly. Both the White House and FDA did not immediately return Fox Business's request for the comment. However, an FDA spokesman pointed the Washington Post to a speech by Hahn earlier this week in which he said, "Every one of the decisions we have reached and that will be made by the FDA scientists has been and will be based on science and data, not politics." Yeah, that's probably fair too. And once again, I don't advocate for taking a drug that the president touts. I don't advocate for taking a drug that the nominee touts. I don't advocate for any of that. Talk to your doctor who knows your medical history, who can do tests, who can see what is going to be best for you. Your doctor knows best what is going to be best for you individually. Regeneron is not going to be a cure-all for everybody. Your doctor will know best what works with your body chemistry and your individual health needs. So keep that in mind before people come out and start yelling that this is a miracle drug. Let's keep going here from the Daily Wire. Photos go viral after showing how China reportedly covered vice presidential debate. Speaks volumes. From Ryan Saavedra. 2 photos went viral on Wednesday night on Twitter for showing communist China, the Chi-Coms, reportedly censoring remarks made by Vice President Mike Pence and then resuming the video signal when Democratic presidential nominee Senator Kamala Harris began talking. Nathan Vanderklip, Beijing correspondent for the Canadian newspaper Globe and Mail, shared 2 photos from the debate, writing, "China censored Pence's comments on China." Signal returned when Harris began talking again. "No signal. Please stand by." A short time later, Vanderklip posted a video to Twitter, writing, "What it looks like when China censors vice presidential debate after a question about China is asked, and then lifts the blackout when the conversation appears set to move on." You know what? Let's do that. I wasn't going to play a video clip this one, but let's do this one.
Susan, isn't the Trump.
Yeah, that's what it is. And make no mistake, with the way that Facebook censors, the way that CNN censors, the way that Twitter censors, the block button that they have there, the nuking of accounts from orbit, make no mistake, that's what they want to have happen here. All right, let's keep going off of this one. Get the live chat back up here for you and turn the ears back off just in case Fox decides they want to autoplay something else, because they're good at that. From CBS 11 and CBS 21, DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth. Carrollton mayoral candidate Zul Mirza Mohammed arrested, charged with 100-plus counts of voter fraud. A mayoral candidate in Carrollton has been arrested and charged with voter fraud. No. There's no definitive proof that there was ever any voter fraud anywhere in the world, ever. There's no definitive proof of anything. The Denton County Sheriff's Office has Zul Mirza Mohammed in custody and charged him with 109 felonies related to voter fraud. The investigation began September 23rd when the Sheriff's Office was notified by the Denton County Elections Office of possible fraudulent activity related to absentee ballot applications. Officials say absentee ballots have been requested and to be sent to a P.O. box in Louisville that was supposed to belong to a nursing home facility. When investigators made contact with the Carrollton residents whose ballots had been requested, they learned that none of the residents had asked for ballots to be mailed to the P.O. box. Further investigation revealed that the P.O. box had been obtained with a fictitious Texas driver's license and a fictitious University of North Texas student ID. To find out who was behind the scheme, officials began surveillance of the postal facility. A box of the requested ballots was picked up at the location. On October 7th, investigators followed the person, later identified as Mohammed, back to a home in the 1600 block of Bennington Drive in Carrollton and contacted the judge to get a search warrant for the house. But no, there's no definitive proof that there's ever been any significant voter fraud. So that's something, and I don't know if this guy, it doesn't say in the article whether or not he's going to be kicked off the campaign, if he has to forfeit, if they have to go back and reprint ballots at this point, but yeah. There's no significant evidence of voter fraud. Just don't look over here. Don't pay attention to this. All right, I got a quick one to touch on for a Supreme Court case. Reminder, Rupp versus Becerra, 9th Circuit, oral arguments are scheduled for 2020, 10/08. There's a video that goes along with that, but I'm not going to use that because it's embedded and it's probably censored by YouTube. But just the details of Rupp versus Becerra from their attorney's website, Michael and Associates, PC, Attorneys at Law. Case names, Stephen Rupp, Stephen Dember, Cheryl Johnson, Michael Jones, Christopher Seifert, and other bunch of people versus Xavier Becerra. So this is a challenge at this point going up to the 9th Circuit on California's assault weapons ban, which, if it goes to the 9th Circuit, with the 9th Circuit being where it is at this point, with the flip that's happened with that, this might get overturned. And California very well might join the rest of us in freedom to keep and bear arms. So definitely something to watch here. We will see what happens from this as we move along. All right, I got two more, a set of tweets, and then another article for you guys. And then we will read the names of everybody who chatted in the live chat. So get those stickers up, because I want to see all your stickers and I want to thank everybody. And if you're lurking right now, now's the time to get your name in there and get it read live on the air. So let's see what is going on with Yelp. Today we're announcing a new consumer alert to stand against racism. In the last few months, we've seen that there is a clear need to warn customers about businesses associated with egregious, racially charged actions to help people make more informed spending decisions. Communities have always turned to Yelp in reaction to current events, and our user operations team have already places alerts on businesses when we notice an unusual uptick in reviews that are based on what someone may have seen in the news rather than on a first-hand experience. Now, When a business gains attention for reports of racist conduct, Yelp will place a new business accused of racist behavior alert on their Yelp page to inform users, along with a link to a news article where they can learn more. Yeah, that's not going to get abused for anything. Yelp is going out. Yelp is putting their thumb on the scale. Because it's easy for someone to come out and find out that this is a political thing, that somebody's got a Trump sign in their window, that somebody voted for Trump, that the records came out and they voted for Trump, that they'll let somebody in the business without a mask. That's a nice one too. Somebody has the ability to do anything, to run their business the way that they want. And they're held hostage by the Yelp reviews, which now have condemnations of racism in the Yelp review. And what do you think is going to happen during a riot, during a BLM riot, if some business all of a sudden gets mysteriously accused of racism and nobody can go out and prove it? People aren't going to look for the proof of it. They're going to look at the Yelp review and they're going to say, well, that's a racist? Well, let me put on this brown shirt here then and let's go make sure that the evil fascist racists pay. Yeah, this is Yelp needs to be held to account for this one because this is a step too far. So keep that in mind as you go on, and if you see a business that you know is not guilty of any of this with a racist Yelp review right away, go throw that business a couple bucks because the brown shirts are about to go shut them down and they're going to need a few bucks in savings because their insurance, I'm guessing under the Yelp review, is probably going to be reluctant to cover them as well. All right. Last one here, and then we'll read the names of the chatters and get on out of here. From The Blaze, President Trump indicates AG Barr has enough evidence to charge Obama admin officials, including Obama and Biden, with spying on his campaign. We have everything. From Phil Shiver. Is it Shiver or Shiver, I wonder? Interesting. President Donald Trump appeared to indicate on Thursday that AG Barr has more than enough evidence to indict members of the Obama administration for spying on the Trump campaign in 2016, including former President Barack Obama and former Vice President Joe Biden. During a lengthy and wide-ranging interview with Fox News' Maria Bartiromo Thursday morning, in which the headline news was that he would not participate in a virtual debate, the president also dropped a potential bombshell that the DOJ has plenty of evidence to go after the Obama administration officials. These people should be indicted. This was the greatest political crime in the history of our country. The greatest political crime that includes Obama, and it includes Biden, the president said. These are people that spied on my campaign, and we have everything. And now they say we have much, much more. And I say, Bill, we got plenty. We don't need any more. Trump continued. We've got so much. Maria, just take a look at the former FBI Director James Comey report, 78 pages of kill, done by DOJ Inspector Michael Horowitz, he added. It was not immediately clear if the president was referring to documents and evidence already made publicly available or to information not yet revealed as part of the U.S. Attorney John Durham's investigation. Durham was tasked by Barr earlier this year with investigating the origins of the Trump-Russia collusion probe. And yes, on top of this all, he's going to come out and declassify it so the rest of the country can see it. Coming up to an election. Folks, no matter what happens, in 3 weeks, this country's going to get violent. Make sure you're prepared at this point. And go get that extra can of beans at this point because you might need it. Because I don't think they're going to stop at the cities, no matter what happens. I think it's going to go further than this. But that's what I have for news. Thanks, guys, for coming and hanging out. Let's see who we can thank personally. Get the chat up here. We'll start from the top and see what we've got, and we'll even look through the chat a little bit as well. So, and Instagram is going to kick out right away too. We've got Ron Helton with the sticker, Dab of Cannabis with the T sticker. I like that sticker. One day, Deba, you and I are going to be in the same live stream, and I'm not going to be streaming, and I'm going to steal that sticker from you. Because they removed one from my library, and I haven't opened one at this point. So I will be watching for you in other people's streams. I know you hang out over in R-rated conservatives. Let's see, 4 years later, they still have not allowed a peaceful transfer. Yep, Miami, 1984, calls bullshit on this story. Thank you, Miami. Furthers the white supremacist bullshit storyline. They're already trying to link this to Trump. Yep. MK Ultra Bear, that's a new name in here. How we doing? Welcome on in. Thanks for hanging out. Militias are constitutional. That is correct. Thank you, MK. Let's see, who else do we have over here? Spartan 0000 Superior 1. My mod from over on the DLive channel over there, who got to see a very, very interesting set of people on YouTube. Were they on YouTube or were they on DLive last night that were just talking all kinds of stupid shit and making the very, very stupid decision of making fun of a moderator who I trust and who has carte blanche to do whatever it takes in my chat. Let's see, who else do we have over here? Gators. Yep, I got a gator. Talking about the kind that just stay in your neck and you pull it up to cover your face. Your neck is always covered. Yeah, that's a gator. MK Ultra says, can they pack the court without the Senate majority? No, they cannot. Because everybody will be blocked. That mask is illegal. I don't care. Nobody says a word to me. That mask you have is a white supremacist. KKK mask. Yeah, okay. Don't tread on me. Ron, how old are you? I was 17 in 01. Yeah, you're about the same age as I am, because if the 1984 is any indication, you were born the same year as I was. Is that it? Thought I saw some other names in here. Guess I didn't. Oh, we got an Elephant Man. How we doing, Elephant Man? Thanks for coming in and chatting. Damn it, Elephant Man, you caught me. Got to give DLive their cut. Oh, did I get a lemon donation? I didn't see it. And I don't have DLive up over on my monitor. I have YouTube up over there. Because that's the one that's going to get shut down. Let's be serious. And we got sticker party. Oh, we got a sticker removed. Look at that racist sticker I found. I can't believe a person would post that white supremacist calf. All right. I have combat boots older than you young'uns. Nice run. All right, let's see who else we had through the week here. Monday was a slow day, I can say that. We had Monday was Elephant Man, Ron, and Public Citizen LTD, which you guys had an interesting conversation going in over there. LTD was on my side, and then he wasn't on my side. On Tuesday, we had Rarely Generic, Brad Cannon. Those were new names in here. Thanks for coming and checking us out. We also had Elephant Man, Ron Helton, Miami 1984, Blippity Blop, checking in from over on the other side of the pond, and Wolf336. That was also a new name. Thanks to you guys for coming and checking us out. On Wednesday, we had Golden Knight, Blind Fear. I think that's Blind Fear Baby Bear, or formerly Blind Fear Baby Bear. Over here checking us out, we had Elephant Man. The Lost American Show showed up for a little bit. Ron Helton was in here on Wednesday. Iyama Fago showed up for a little bit and gave us an aye. And Solomon ____ popped in to round out Wednesday. He popped in right at the end. And on Thursday, we had Ron. We had Yad Erhe from over in the Beauty and the Beta Frozen North server over on the Twitch side, Miami. The Generational Gap. Robert actually come in and hung out with us in the morning. So thanks for that. We had Jungle Forever, who was apparently prosecuted by Kamala Harris in California. So we're sorry to hear that, Jungle Forever. And of course we had the trolls, Miss Click Ho, Taurus 8th, Abyss TV 123, Martok 2K, Fozzie 45678, and Megaboy 20055257. all decided that they wanted to see how much shit they could get away with without getting blocked or getting me to tell them to shut up on the stream. But as Ron pointed out to them, I don't usually read the chat during live. I just keep going with the headlines and then we get done and we go to work. Which I'm going to do here in just a bit. I'm going to head on over to the Daily Ignoramus. So we'll head over there and check him out for the day. And then I'm going to make some breakfast and head to work. We will be back here. I made an executive decision after the debate and everything else that I've done this week that I'm not going to be able to do an Ed Talk this weekend because we did one midweek. So I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to get some stuff done around the house. Possibly set up my new game setup for doing the emulated game because we will start playing Super Mario RPG starting this coming week. Hope to have some fun with that here and doing other stuff to get ready for the upcoming election. So, other than that, we will be back here on Monday with more contemporary and Monday night with the Red and Ed show. And there's a 50-50 shot that I will be guest hosting the Generational Gap again yet tonight. We don't know what's going on with that, so pay attention to their channel as well. Until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. Take care.